Protests have now been ongoing in Portland for about 6 weeks now. Some clash with local police, some with federal officers. Those federal authorities were deployed in the city under an executive order from President Trump to protect federal property and monuments. Now, the president himself is weighing in on protests here in Portland. Christelle Kumwe has our story.
Portland police posted this picture on Twitter Friday night of what appeared to be a 16-inch sledgehammer. They say someone was breaking down a door of the federal courthouse with it during protests downtown and struck a federal officer in the head and shoulder when he and other officers tried to intervene. The person was arrested. Protesters have demonstrated for 43 consecutive nights following the police killing of George Floyd in Minneapolis. The protests have evolved to small groups who late at night focus their actions on federal properties like the Mark O. Hatfield Courthouse. Police have declared riots several times, and officers, as well as federal law enforcement, have used tear gas to disperse demonstrators.
We've never seen this intensity of violent, focused criminal activity over this long of a period of time, at least in the time that I have been here.
The Department of Homeland Security deployed federal officers in tactical gear from around the country under an executive order last month to protect federal property and monuments in several cities, including here in Portland. During a military briefing Friday in Florida, President Trump talked to the acting DHS Secretary, Chad Wolf, about the protests in Portland and claimed the local police couldn't manage the protests themselves.
It was out of control. The locals couldn't handle it, and you people are handling it very nicely.
I think what we see in Portland is really a smaller example of what we see around the country regarding some of the civil unrest and the attacks on law enforcement. We've had to send in additional individuals. We're making arrests, but there has been violence, there's been assaults on federal law enforcement officers, and it really just shouldn't occur. We should have more support of the local police there.
Wolf went on to say federal agents had arrested close to a dozen people so far, and the Department of Justice had charged almost as many. Deputy Police Chief Chris Davis has said his department did not request the assistance from the federal government, and he doesn't have the authority to order federal officers to do things, saying, quote, "It does complicate things."
It's a pretty wild group, but you have it in very good control, so we appreciate it. Local law enforcement has been told not to do too much. It's not the way it's supposed to be, but that's okay.
Portland's police union announced a vote of no confidence in city leaders this week, saying they do not believe commissioners or the mayor will act to stop violent protests in Portland. Christelle Kumwe, KGW News.
Thank you, Christelle. Now, we did reach out to Portland Police, DHS, and the mayor's office for comment. Portland Police have declined to comment, and we haven't heard back from the rest.